and seeing some protests. But Holly Davis, what's your take on what we've seen so far? We didn't see a lot of the specific video of the moment, but leading up to it, what's your take?
I don't like this decision by the district attorney. I'm just going to say it. I don't like it because as a district attorney, you have a lot of leeway in deciding what gets investigated and what does not. And at this point, in this very early stage of this investigation, where a person who was not armed was shot because of what, $14 of shoplifting by a person who looked like they were in total control of every single interaction with this victim, the security guard who's pinning the victim down. I just disagree. I think that the district attorney needs to let this go and to take it to a grand jury and to see what the criminal system thinks about whether or not this is a crime. I think that it is, and from what I can tell from this video, it does not look like there is a knife brandished. It seems to me that the security guard got offended when he got spit on, and that led to the shooting. So I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, as a viewer, where's the danger? I mean, the security guard had control over this person the entire interaction.
Yeah, I would
throwing
agree
him
100%.
on the ground and everything.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think he was, I would even go so far as to say, for the most part, I mean, clearly stealing is wrong, but he was the aggressor from that point on. And like you said, I think he had control of that situation and got upset. But here's what I think happened. I think politics might have played a role in this, Holly. Let's give people a little context. San Francisco is going through a very difficult time. This district attorney came into office on a hard line on shoplifting and all the different things going on in San Francisco. And I think this was part of her, approach to crime. She wanted to send a message saying that, look, I'm going to be tough on crime. Shoplifting will not be tolerated. They're losing businesses left and right in San Francisco. So I think politics played a big role in her decision.
100%, Michael. I think that's exactly it. When I was looking into this case, I saw that, this district attorney, what would make a district attorney refuse to let the criminal process take place and unfold and investigate to see whether or not the claim of self-defense is really going to hold up in a court of law? Political pressure. Political pressure is exactly what is leading this district attorney to let this case go no further. And I think there's economic pressure with all of the people exiting San Francisco since the pandemic and the businesses as well. But in this day and age, in the the Yarl shooting and the George Floyd murder trial, are we going to kill people over $14 of shoplifted items, or put your knee on the neck of a person for counterfeit money? Maybe. There are cops who shoot people who are holding Subway sandwiches because they thought that there was a weapon when there was none. So I understand this is absolutely political, in my opinion, Michael. I agree with you. But to what extent are we going to let this political process run to save a city?
Yeah, really, that's the point. I mean, Nordstrom has left recently. Whole Foods has left. Office Depot has left. This is all from downtown San Francisco. And Target actually now keeps all of their goods behind fiberglass, and you have to get an associate to come and help you to get your merchandise. That's how bad it is right now in San Francisco.
Well, in looking at how the district attorney's office handled this, though, and you said it, Holly, about not letting it unfold, they already had a website for this. They were able to put together a website to show everyone. They wanted to make sure they were at least giving the air of transparency to show them all of the video that they have. There's links to it. That's where we were able to obtain a lot of this. And there was a very long report that was put out. We see that sometimes. District attorneys' offices, when they choose not to charge, they will be very detailed. And in it, it says that this officer reasonably feared for his life, that he believed that there was a knife. He heard that the stabbing, he felt that the shooting victim was attempting to stab him, and that he only put out his hand at moments to try and get him to, hey, if you just keep staying back and you drop the bag, then everything will be okay. But then after a lunge towards him is when he fired that shot. But they say that the gun was pointed down at his feet until it was raised after that lunge. So very detailed, Holly. Is that something that you think they had to do in a situation like this? Be that detailed with this report?
Yeah, look at the riots, look at the protests, look at what have happened in other cities across the country. I will admit, and you make great points, that this is exactly what the district attorney's office should do if they're refusing to let the process play itself out. They're going to show everybody what their reasoning was, but ultimately the district attorney was the single arbiter of whether or not that security guard's approach was reasonable. And so I just disagree with the substitution of the district attorney's opinion as opposed to, a jury of that person's peers. But I do think that if in this case, they knew they had to get out in front of it. So a really wise PR move to, put a website out there. So, what can you do? It's a rock and a hard place.